2, 1.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We have Mariah and Russell as guests. It's going to be an interesting episode. I'm not 100% sure where this is all going to go, but you know what, Sena? You wanted to revisit a topic that we talked about a month and a half ago, and kind of get a little bit deeper into that. So why don't you tell us about that, and then we'll continue from there.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up something that Kevin brought to my attention, and that is talking about the word anti-Semitic, and where it comes from and what it means. Just a little bit of history and thoughts along the way. But like when I come to coming up with a segment for the show, I wanted to make a segment of our generation buying into today's definition of anti-Semitism, which is hatred of Jews. And just because like it's all around us. I mean, I have Jew friends. I see it all on the internet. I mean, it's pretty despicable in what times we are in, and there's always stories about it. So it was just something that I thought that Gen Z could really bring into the show's light, kind of like just get more in depth on it. But because it's all around us and it's getting worse, and you hear them, even though they're calling themselves Jews, are Yahweh's chosen people. But even so, I first needed to eat my words and start today by breaking the word down with the best of my knowledge, and encourage and appreciate always constructive criticism, as what we are doing is beyond important, and learning and growing and understanding is what Yahweh asks of us. So words are important, and I've learned a lot. Okay, so this is today's lesson on where anti-Semitism comes from. So, Shem. It's Noach's first son, and Shem means name, the name, as in Yahweh's name. We know him as Noach, but the world knows him as Noah. So sadly, in this world, Jews call God Hashem, the name. That's what it means, instead of Yahweh. They do this deliberately to avoid pronouncing Yahweh's name in vain, because their religion has corrupted Yahweh's statements. And in religion's third commandments, it commands them to fear the glorious and awesome name. Jews believe they are not allowed to pronounce Yahweh's name, and are afraid to do so. And if they do, they are told by their false Tanakh to hurry, to praise and glorify and venerate it, so that it will not have been mentioned in vain. Using G-D and Adonai, meaning my Lord, to corrupt Yahweh's name. Of course, they pronounce it wrongly as Yahweh anyways. So where do we get Sem in Semite? The ancient Romans could not pronounce the sh in their language, and they dropped the sh sound in translation, translating the Hebrew name into koine, Greek as Sem, and the ancient Greek and Latin texts, such as the Greek Septuagint and Latin Vulgate, lacked a sh, and translated Shem to Sem, as they couldn't pronounce Hebrew sound. Then entered English from these biblical translations. I put a little thought behind there, like, it's crazy to me that the world believes in these people that have translated from an ancient text that they can't even pronounce or read. So, where does Semite come from?
Yeah, to pause.
ahead, yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot to unpack there. Like
Yeah.
following.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
there's
Actually.
there's a lot of
We'll go back.
there's a lot of stuff.
Good. We'll
Do
keep.
you want to
no,
go
we'll
over it,
back.
go through it all
Yeah,
first, and then we'll go back over it?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Just keep
Great,
in mind we
just-
only have so much time.
No, of course. It's almost over.
Oh.
So, where do we get Semite from? It wasn't until later words like Semite and Semitic, previously referred to as Oriental languages, were invented in 1781 by the German historian and pedagogue August Ludwig von Schlauser. He wanted to categorize a new linguistic category for ancient and modern languages of the Middle East that were historically grouped together, such as Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, and Syriac, under a single organized linguistic family. He used the genealogies in the religious Bible, like Table of Nations in Genesis 10, to organize them. He derived the term from Shem, one of the sons of Noach, to describe the peoples who traditionally spoke these related tongues. He also observed that from the Mediterranean Sea to the Euphrates and the Mesopotamia down to Arabia, only one language reigned in ancient times. He wanted a term that reflected the deep shared roots of the Syrians, Babylonians, Hebrews, and Arabs. And again, I put a little note to go back later if we want to. So, where does "ite" come from in Semite? The "ite" suffix in Semite comes from the ancient Greek suffix "ite" from Latin "ita," which means a descendant of, native of, or belonging to. Schlauser invented the word Semitic strictly for linguistic purposes, and it was never meant to describe a single biological race or ethnicity. So, where does today's world get anti-Semitism? In 1879, the term anti-Semitism was coined by the German agitator Wilhelm Marr to designate the anti-Jewish campaigns underway in Central Europe at the time. Nazi anti-Semitism, which culminated in the Holocaust, had a racist dimension in that it targeted Jews because of their supposed biological characteristics, even those who had themselves converted to other religions or whose parents were converts. This variety of anti-Jewish racism dates only to the emergence of the so-called scientific racism in the 19th century and is different in nature from earlier anti-Jewish prejudice. I put a little note because it's funny that also in Europe race was popular in 1902 and the word of racism was invented later for Jews described as the Nazis in 1930s, which I thought was pretty interesting. Oh no.
It's interesting to think that racism didn't exist until this guy.
Isn't that interesting? So today, I'm just going over today's definition of the word and the name Shem. So Sem, which derives from Shem because of the ancient Romans. Semite, which was created by August Ludwig von Schlauser in the 18th century for linguistic purposes. And anti-Semitism was created in the 19th century by Wilhelm Marr to designate the anti-Jewish campaigns. And then here's the true definition of Shem. Shem means name. And to be anti-Shem is to be against the name of Yahweh and every religion, and most of all, the religious Jews. Oh, I'm sorry. I went over an entire thing. I was like, that's not what I wrote. We'll start again. Shem means name. And to be anti-Shem is to be against the name of Yahweh and everything that has to do with Yahweh and his covenant and Torah. That includes every religion and most of all, the religious Jews. They have changed, rewritten, and have erased Yahweh's name and Yahweh's one true Son, our Savior and King, Dod. It also means they are against the name that Yahweh gave them, Yehudim. They are not Yehudim until they embrace everything Yahweh was, is, and forever will be, including their King David, Dod. So my thoughts over this, as I was writing and learning, in today's corruption, they have totally stripped away the meaning and true definition, as it has with many, like Towrah, Zion, signs posted along the way. Thank you, Tyon. That's why Mariah's here correcting me. Tyzon. We can go over that.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's why you're having difficulty pronouncing it. It's TSY?
TSY, there we go. I was trying to, when I was writing it down, I kept looking back and forth and writing it, and my dyslexic brain did that. All right, that's why we have Mariah, guys. So it's interesting. I just wrote my thoughts here so you can see it. But it's very sad to think that anti-Shem is against Yahweh and his Torah and everything to do with him and the world's definition being against Yahweh's chosen people, Jews are alike, except no one, including Jews, acknowledges Yahweh and his Torah, and that he hates religion and politics, and so that makes Yahweh's chosen people anti-Shem and anti-Semitic as well. And I'm guilty of what the world believes as the corrupted definition. I see so much hate around me for Jews that I've totally misrepresented the meaning and have been clouded by the word. And because the world doesn't acknowledge Shem, nobody knows the truth. No one acknowledges Yahweh's name or Dode, and Shem is Dode.
Well done.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really good that you kind of came back to rethink about it once you had more of a refined perspective on it, and you kind of wanted to get that down.
Yeah,
And,
I just because I wanted to do a segment about today's anti-Semitic hate, I also need to represent that Jews are also that way, and especially the Orthodox. So in in the future, when I do that segment of today's anti-Semitic news, it can be more layered and not just one way. But I just wanted to go over that because it was brought to my attention, and I want to correct some things, and also I want to invite that kind of criticism, and because it's very helpful. It also, I'm not like no one's offended by that. If anything, that's exactly what this is for. So I encourage it, and I loved doing my research about it because I've heard of it and I know about it and I hear it on the shows all the time and in the books, but I have never actually just dove into that because, I mean, today's definition and everyone goes by isn't the same, but that doesn't mean I, want to take that lightly, and I don't want to understand that.
Yeah, I get
etymology is fascinating.
Yeah.
I love etymology and the roots of words and where they came from and their history.
So that caught the little smile, John, when you said it's funny there's no racism until that guy invented it. I was like, oh, okay. I have some bridges I can sell you.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's of course a joke, right? Like,
yeah. Well, some people believe that they read it and go, "Oh, that's the guy. He coined it," and it's like, "Oh, it never existed before then." So it's a problem with things these days. But racism unites, though. Everyone's all what? It actually does. It unifies people because if I hate Jewish people or black people or whatever the thing is, it's the people that you're with that you create a boogeyman for them, and it unites that group, and then you can control them, and they go, well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, otherization.
They created this problem that we're living in, not us. We're not responsible for our own actions. Let's blame someone. And then that unifies people by being racist or anti-Semitic or whatever else.
What other kinds of people do that? People with personality disorders?
Yeah.
That's usually the people who do it.
Cluster B, a little bit.
But yeah, it's interesting, Sena. I like that you kind of wanted to circle back and touch on this topic again because there's, oopsie, that was my bad. I knocked something there. There's a tendency to culturally kind of revert to allowing the majority to control the language. And a large portion of what we've done to become set apart is stripping away the cultural influence of that language and understanding the context in which Yahweh uses it. Right? So it's interesting to talk about Shemitic or Semitic or anti-Semitism or just the entire cadre of words there, because there's a lot to unpack both historically and culturally, and looking at these things through these different perspectives and lenses kind of adds to the conversation.
Yeah, and it adds more knowledge, but it makes more sense. Like if you take, like we all know that taking the original definition of anything will always lead you, it'll always lead you back to what happened and what it means, and the fact that we have stripped away all of these meanings like Zionism, I was even learning more about that and what Jews think and what Yah says, and if they just knew that, you know what I mean? It's like if you just knew one word real definition, it would change so many perspectives and so much truth about what they've known. And it's quite amazing. I love doing this. It's like watching Roger B's like words in Towrah, you could just keep going and going. So
It's
funny.
walking out of Babylon through the words.
yeah, and that's exactly right, John. Like, we're set apart, so we need to go back to Yah and what he has said in his Towrah, just like with the Teba, and like it's not the Ark of the Covenant. Like, that's amazing. Like, what? It's and it makes a lot more sense. So it's
Yeah.
right. It's
It's funny you say that too with like names. Like I remember the exact way you said it, even though it was like 5 seconds ago. But like with names in particular, in the context of the Torah and the covenant and Yahweh, it's like names are so important, like in terms of like function and role and just explaining why something exists or what its place is. And so when you take that away, it's just like, okay, then what the hell is this thing? It's like, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So to other people, but when realistically, like the actual thing that is super important is just going to be undiscovered for, a long period of time until somebody digs up, oh, look, I found the original thing. And then nobody cares.
right.
So,
And people have already, go ahead, Mariah.
Names are important. They mean things. And Shem isn't just name, it's reputation, renown, it's everything related to that individual.
exactly.
It carries a lot of meaning and a lot of implications and there's that word again, Asher, when you consider the relationships. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And anti the name, there's more than one name that's obfuscated by the word Jew. There's two.
Yeah. Yeah, whether
And
you're
the
talking about
rabbis
Yahweh
and
or
both.
Od.
Exactly.
Right.
For sure. This is good. This has been a great little circle back around episode 2. I think it's been cool. Now, a question I'd like to ask Mariah and Ross is because you guys, I think you guys are Gen X, or you're yeah. So how
Just turned
has
55.
nice. So how has I guess I'll use the common parlance. How has anti-Semitism kind of evolved through your time on this earth? Because for us as younger people, it's been kind of like it's something that I've seen kind of brewing since my teens, and it's really exploded over the last like decade or so. Right now, going back, say 40 years ago when you guys were in your teens, was it something that was very common?
Whoa, that hurt. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
40 years. It's true though. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That hurt.
We just had this conversation
okay.
about 30 years ago.
So the question was, how has it changed?
Yeah, like have you seen like an evolution culturally towards that acceptance? Has it been rapid? Has it been kind of subtle and gradual? Were people kind of keeping it in the closet before, or was it more like wearing it on your sleeve?
That was the key thing. The word "see" in there is seeing it. Where you're living in a time right now where what we're doing didn't exist. Your cell phones, you're bombarded with massive information, whether it's true or not, and so you see everything. So you think, oh my God, there's a real problem. Well, it's always been there. You just don't see it on the 5 channels of news we had as teenagers, unless there's an agenda for somebody to push their agenda. It's like whether it's war, money, whatever's going to happen, you don't see it until somebody can benefit from it, unfortunately. And that's kind of how it is. Now you're just constant. You have YouTube, X, Facebook. I don't participate in any of those. Haven't since 2010 when it kind of started. MySpace. Does that sound familiar?
Oh my God.
Anybody? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're old. So yeah, that was, to me, right away was a time suck. And it was one of those things where people get on there and they're just it's not being real. There's just too much. It's like the bullying when you could instant message somebody on AOL. No? Yeah, there we go. Yep. So when that started, you didn't have any repercussions. The playground, what'd you say to me? Pop right in the face, right? Online, you could say whatever you want, and it just got nasty. So to answer that question is, for me, how it's changed is it's always been there. It's just not in the public eye unless there's a reason for it to be. And now you can't hide anything. And now anybody can sit behind their keyboard jihadist, right? can sit there and say anything they want, push it out there, and it becomes viral. And it's like, oh, wow, this is really happening. It's just one person's doing it. And it doesn't take much, but they're pointing it out. Go ahead. I'm sorry. But that's my long-winded version of how that's changed. It hasn't changed. It's been there. It's just we're seeing more of it, and it has escalated for sure.
Yeah, I like that answer. What were you going to say, Mariah?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think also, too, there was a generation that was shocked by the Holocaust. I think there's some people that were a bit naive, and when it was blasted and you couldn't deny it anymore, I think that there was a generation that was genuinely shocked. Now, there's been, especially now with the internet the way that it is, and like he said, a huge amount of misinformation and disinformation. I hate to use those two words, but it's just lies told about the things that happened, and people saying that didn't happen, and like there's this big debate. No, there's no debate.
Yeah.
There's no,
It's very Brave New World.
it's yes, it's, and you know, growing up in school, we had read 1984, we read Orwell and some of the other sort of things in our social studies class, and recognized that these things could happen again. No, and here they are. But I think it's always been here in pockets, different places. I mean, the KKK was, loved to talk about it.
Yeah.
And they've been there a long time. And then, even before that, there was the eugenics movement. And then before that, you get Christianity doing its lovely thing to people all over the planet. And, the Jews, the Yahud were one of their favorites to pick on, blame everything on.
Right.
They put them in the position because anyway, if you look through the history, you can see why they ended up in positions as bankers.
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody was allowed to lend. And so they were the only ones that would. And then, once again, just like Muha didn't
that
want
makes
to
me
bill.
distinctly think of Charlemagne.
No, just kill the people that, lended us money.
Yeah, there was a very disgusting cycle of abuse of expelling Yehudim throughout Europe and taking their belongings and sending them somewhere else for the cycle to continue a generation, sometimes not even a generation later.
Yep, pogroms.
Yeah, it's like history. What did we learn from history? Probably the most important lesson we overlook is we don't learn from history.
Right, we repeat it.
Itself. World War II, like Mariah just mentioned, you had a generation that came out of that, so it was very real. They literally could look on their arm and see what was real, the tattoo, the numbers, stuff like that, or families skin in the game they lost. Then you separate with that through time. They have kids, then they have grandkids. The grandkids start to detach from the horrific reality of what happened because they're not living it. They didn't see it. And then you get their kids growing up, and guess where we're at right now? They're grandkids, and they have no concept of how real this shit is.
Yeah,
my dad fought
it's a joke.
Yeah. And my grandfather, he's just drunk again, talking about the days and the war. And, I saw that growing up. My dad served in World War II, which is shocking because I'm so young. But he was 43 when I was born. So kind of a late bloomer there. And I got to hear about stuff, and see it. So for me, it was very different than my friends because they used to think my parents were my grandparents because they were older. And so for me, I was growing up with a household that went through the Depression. 1924 is when my dad was born. So he went through all that. And so when you see that kind of stuff, it for me is very different. I looked at it differently than my friends. They talk about stuff, I made crude jokes about everyone, race, religion, whatever. I don't care. I don't have filters. If it's true and it's bad, whatever, I don't care. So I grew up with that kind of stuff. Cultural is what more or less is.
It's not racist. It's cultural.
Yeah. But so, seeing that's something that's lost right now. There's no, oh, that stove's hot, don't touch it. Oh, I'm going to, okay, I won't do that. Now people they don't listen. They'll just keep doing stupid crap. And it's just like there's no repercussions.
And blame it on someone else.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Let's blame it on the boogeyman. Let's create one. So,
yeah. A lack of responsibility and accountability.
Yeah, personal accountability.
Yeah. That's a great thing to bring up on a youth show because there's so much we can unpack with that kind of culturally and generationally. It's interesting because older generations have always kind of shit on the generation after them. It's just kind of happened forever.
Yeah.
And it's interesting topic in that regard, insofar as like tempering, right? Because obviously you guys have got quite a bit more experience than we do in life, and everybody's just kind of trying to find their own way, and it's just this
We were too.
We just
Yeah,
have more
exactly.
information. It's nothing to do with the intellect level. It's to do with experience at times and just what you do with it.
Making mistakes and learning from them. You
Yeah.
just made more mistakes.
Well, like Craig had mentioned, he was surprised when he saw your show and just was kind of, I got to take back some of these things they say about Gen Z. And, you know, it makes sense because myself, I see a lot of that stuff and I'll, you know, fall into that trap of just like these kids these days. That's the same shit I heard when I was younger. These kids, that's always been that way.
Yeah,
Rumor.
I even say it just because I think it's that funny.
Yeah. How
well,
old are
this
you,
one is
John?
special.
I'm 28.
You're
I've been
28.
saying it. I've been saying that for like 10 years though.
Yeah. Well, you're aware, extremely intelligent. I mean, that's great. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's most people aren't aware, and hearing you guys talk on the show is it's inspiring, you
It
know, because
is.
you're like,
It is.
but it's only a few people, but that's still, there's hope. There's other people out there, right? I'm sure you know friends, and
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of okay. Well, they're not complete idiots, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all a little stupid. That's just kind of life, you know. Everybody's just a little.
we both raise our hands. We all, I mean, yeah, exactly. We all have our things.
I'm
But,
definitely not a genius.
So, Sena, on that, reading it, because that's kind of how we're doing our book thing, the book club is, what's that, John?
This is Stewie.
Hi.
He likes to
Oh.
visit me during the shows.
He's your co-host, huh?
Are you a
Yeah.
terror? Are you a good
It's a
kid?
ginger kitty.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Nice. Awesome.
Sena, like reading through that, the whole thing, and then going back. Are we going to go back a little bit on some of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to pull that up again, and we can
Yeah.
we can
Okay.
actually talk about something specific? I
thank
like
you.
that idea.
You can see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yep.
I pulled it back up.
Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, let's see the first one. What was it? This one.
Just okay. So that's the different. That's where we get the,
So
the
when you
change in verbalization
notes-
of the shin.
Yeah. So your notes on there, it's like because the foolology, they couldn't even pronounce or
Ology
read
is
Hebrew.
ology.
So they
Yeah.
just, let's just make up stuff now. It's like,
Yeah, they couldn't even do that, and yet everybody is following Christianity and like Catholicism. Like they couldn't even read these original words that were in the Torah,
exactly.
and people are trusting them. It's
Placeholders for the
absolutely
names.
Well, when you place your trust in somebody else and let them lead you, like you elect your officials and things, that can be very dangerous.
Also,
So
too,
whatever they say becomes law and that kind of thing, and it's dangerous. But
Right.
that's
Just-
amazing. So
just a note.
ignorance is disastrous. Some words I recently read in a book. But that's and these are the guys creating this. So yeah.
Yeah. On that too, I just want to like quick story because it's related to this. Is I was having a conversation with my no longer my friend, thank goodness, but he was really dumb, and he is a youth pastor now because his wife was a pastor's kid, and her parents owned a church, and they were both pastors and whatever. And so he married into the family. He became a youth pastor, as one does, and then basically we had a falling out, and then out of nowhere he messages me and he's like, hey, let's have breakfast at like Barnes & Noble. So I was like, yeah, sure, we go. And we like the conversation just kind of naturally went into religion and whatever, and I started casually just talking about like, you know, Yahweh and like religion objectively and historically, and he was like, wow, I didn't know that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, God's name isn't even God, like that's just like a title, and also the word God is Germanic, so it's like and so then he was like, what are you talking about? And then I kind of went into like Yahweh and like, you know, the paleo and everything. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. I thought Hebrew was a dead language. And I'm like, Josh, you realize that there are people today who are what do you think they're speaking? Gibberish? And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that. I was like, and you're teaching
Didn't think.
And he's teaching people, yes.
I didn't think.
Hey.
But sorry, yeah, that was the little story. I'm like, you're teaching children and you don't know this. This is insane.
Yeah, Mariah, I noticed that you had something on your mind earlier. If you can maybe pull that back out of the ether.
Yeah.
On the slide. So you notice the Greek Septuagint, and because it was in Greek and not in Hebrew, and because they didn't translate it well, and also because of lovely Paul with his really big Greek letters, there became this sort of obsession through Christendom with the Greek, which is completely a misdirection from
Yeah, totally misguided.
from the Hebrew letters, which carry so much meaning. So another level of obfuscation and just ignoring the richness and the beauty that's in the Torah.
Yeah, and reflecting on that idea, I think that's where Christianity, of course, would get a lot of the Gnosticism from, right?
Yes.
It'd be from the Greeks.
Yep.
So it's, I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting that it went that particular route.
Okay.
Here we go.
So this was another slide about when I was learning about this and looking things up, when he said, so from the Mediterranean Sea to the Euphrates and the Mesopotamian,
Euphrates.
Thank you, Mesopotamia. Thank you. Yes, down to Arabia, the only language reigned. So one language reigned. What language reigned? I was very that was my big question, because I was like, well, I want it to be Hebrew, but it's probably not going to be Hebrew. And when I was looking it up, it did say Aramaic.
Aramaic? Or
yeah.
Akkadian, maybe? I can't remember exactly when Akkadian.
Yeah, when I was, let me go into my, because I have so many of my tabs.
There's a few Akkadian roots in the Torah.
Yeah, I have. I'm sure. No, this is all my stuffies. Where's my definition? No.
Interesting.
No. I did look this up. I had it down. Maybe no,
that's interesting.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the tab. I have a lot of things up.
You know, it is kind of neat though, as like a side, while Sena's looking for that you can kind of check out those maps where like the language groups were and how people have kind of migrated over time and how languages have adapted. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. You see a lot of influence of the Hebrew in various languages.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yes. So, I'm sorry.
Oh, you got it, Sena?
Yeah. So it is Aramaic. And but then when I looked when it went, like, where did it come from? And it was like originated in the 11th century. I was like, that makes no sense. Like, I know I put a bunch here. I put in, let me go back to my doc actually, because I wrote when I was talking to Kevin about this, because this goes into Kevin actually, he wanted to go back into it because he said he has a theory that the Paleo-Hebrew was the first writing, and possibly Hebrew was the first spoken language, and that this left the garden along with Adam, and then we know that Yah put a sign on Cain after killing Hebel, so that presumes that others outside the garden would be able to read it. Scholars are hesitant to give Hebrew, the actual language of God, the credit it deserves, and do cartwheels trying to promote Phoenician? Is it Phoenician?
Phoenician?
I can't see it.
It's Phonecian.
Yeah, Phoenician.
Thank you. Or Sumerian. As the first written language, and then he wonders if there's an exit sign on the Teba, and that's just goes in because I was also questioning that, why would that be like the first language if it's in the 11th century, when I mean, what I wrote, so Aramaic. So I was wondering why Aramaic was spoken outside the garden, but they are both 3,000 years old. When I looked up Paleo Hebrew, and it says the script originated around the 10th century and Aramaic was the 11th. And so it went back
BCE.
and
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I was
yes,
assuming.
BCE, yeah.
Insofar as Aramaic and
Yeah,
its
like
origins.
so it says Aramaic ran, it reigned in the ancient times.
Yeah, like it was definitely like a primary language for those empires in that region at that time. Like I'm pretty sure Abraham would have spoken Aramaic
Yeah.
or some derivative of that, insofar as maybe that was like Akkadian. Like those language groups are all kind of related, right? Like everything
Right.
in that like you're talking about, they essentially refer to it as like a Semitic language group.
Which is
Right,
what
right.
he was referring to. It was a Semitic language. That's where the term came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And-
interesting.
Shem supposedly settled those lands, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
Right.
that's the
his
idea.
descendants? Yeah. Right.
What do you think about Kevin's?
It's the first writing and possibly the first spoken language. Okay.
Well, it makes me wonder about things like obviously we talked about etymology earlier, and the fact that we even call it like a phonetic alphabet is kind of like already poisoning the well. You know what I mean? It's already tied to the Phoenicians.
Phoenician, because
Yeah.
they like to call it the Paleo Hebrew Phoenician.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, insofar as the archaeological record, I'm not 100% sure what comes first, chicken or egg wise, insofar
Right.
as these languages, because I'll be honest, I haven't done too much of a deep dive into that. But it is a very interesting topic of discussion. Insofar as whether or not Hebrew is the original language, I would definitely lean towards that Yahweh decided to communicate to Adam in Hebrew.
Indeed.
That makes the most
I think
sense
that's a
to me.
given.
You know what I mean? So it's like, do we
Right.
have Hebrew as the dominant language, and then maybe some of these like proto-humans without a Nasama have a language group of their own that's not Hebrew? Because I would assume that these animal people would be able to communicate like us, even if they can't speak the same language. You know what I mean?
So there are some, my understanding is there are some ancient languages that are not related. They have like some of the Asian languages, I think.
Like Sanskrit. That's kind of like what pops into my head, but like, I don't even know how old that is, for instance.
So for me, when you say Sanskrit, I think of writing. I don't think of a spoken language. Like I
Well,
can't hear
so,
it.
yeah. Like it's not a phonetic language. It was more like you draw down a symbol and that symbol has a word.
Right. So that's different than spoken language.
Mhm.
That's making a record of something. I think of some of the African languages, maybe some of the Aboriginal Australian languages, cultures that are very away from, yes, geographically distant and older, maybe possibly have older roots, though I think a lot of them have now been influenced by other languages, anything that's come into contact, obviously.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like you look at Hawaiian, and all of the sort of single syllables that put together to make different words, and it's very different. So as far as the main language of the area, I would think so. But then we have the Tower of Babel, right?
That was exactly what was on my mind was that kind of situation, as I figured that kind of threw the curveball into the works.
Yeah, it's like, nah, don't understand each other. Stop it. You people suck.
Well, and like the Hebrews, I mean, Yehudim were always taken into slavery. I mean, which is crazy that today everyone thinks that there's the white guys that are coming in and taking land from these people because they were the ones that were enslaved for that. I mean, so it's, I mean, I wouldn't, it's an interesting thought. And I agreed with Kevin on some, a big scale of it. And thinking about it though is what Yahweh likes is little things, and he doesn't like popularity. So if Paleo Hebrew, I mean, if it were like the first, I mean, it could be very well the first, I mean, anything, because he spoke to Abraham and especially Adam, of course, and they knew this, but they knew it. So did everyone else know it? I don't know. And I mean, I would think if everyone else spoke Paleo Hebrew, then they'd want to babblify it as much as they could.
I would presume, this is of course speculation, that, you know, I obviously spoke to Adam in Hebrew, so Adam's descendants would know the same language, right? He would teach them that language. And it's very likely that, you know, the other humans that they encountered without a Nusama, whether or not they were capable of learning new languages, who knows? But I would assume that the language kind of spread over time through that way, through Adam's descendants and through maybe cultural exchange.
I'm going to go with that answer for 200.
Loved your Jeopardy show, by the way. That was
Thank
so
you.
fun.
I'm trying to segue into that, but I was like, yeah, it was great.
You know what?
I
I did want to mention it before you took off, just to kind of see like reception, because I haven't talked to too many people about it, but I'm glad that a lot of people liked it.
That was a lot of fun.
It's been the morning show kind of in this week.
I've been trying to listen to these in the mornings,
and I'm
when I
getting
get
ready
for
and
work.
getting coffee and all that, and I got one right. She said I probably would have got some more of it.
He didn't hear
Oh yeah.
So,
well, some of them were kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Some of them were easier than others.
Yeah.
You know,
could have been a little differently in some of them.
There's one guest you won't be inviting on. Will be Craig.
Look at him all.
He's like,
no, I have him come up with questions.
There you go. Just give him all
the. Be the host.
Anybody wants to help come up
done.
with questions and topics for a Jeopardy episode, feel free to reach out to me. Anybody who's watching this.
Ooh.
As I learned, I think maybe I'll do that. And I'll come
Leia will give you riddles.
That'd be cool.
Leia
will give us riddles.
Honestly, and we're thinking about experimentation. Like I'm working on a Jeopardy episode too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fun! Awesome! Yay!
Make a balance of
looking forward to that.
Easy question.
It gets you to dig in your files up here, just think. That's the most important thing, so
for sure we'll get a pattern kind of down. We might play some other games too, more like game show-esque stuff. We might even come up with an original game. We're going to see how that goes. So yeah, again, anybody listening, if they want to work on something, feel free to reach out to the team here, and we'll kind of brainstorm something together.
Nice.
Cool.
Is there anything, Russell, is there anything you would like to say? Anything to add? Any things you'd like us to go over later in episodes?
Well, not to say the game show, the Jeopardy thing, but stuff like that. But wow, putting me on the spot to think about that. I probably have to get back to you. But as far as I haven't got to see everyone's shows, your previous ones, too much of them, because there's popping out a lot, and I'm trying to rearrange my schedule to make sure that we can do ours also. But so it's
there's a lot going on now. A lot of people got their own shows, and it's not like they're exactly very short. And everybody's busy. It's a fantastic time. It's cool to be able to kind of have these crossover episodes.
Yeah, but the thing is too is you just have to keep in mind, because I don't have time to watch it. It's not for us. It's for later. So I mean, that's the main thing, is the message. So if we all can't watch everybody's shows, so be it. But it's one of those things. It's not for us. It's not for our entertainment and our pleasure and our time. It is nice to put faces, names together and just talk to people and hear a voice, because it's very different.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do totally agree with the greater purpose, that it is about something that is totally beyond us, and that's kind of this whole thing in a way.
That's what it's for.
At the same time, I'm definitely doing this at least a little bit for me,
because I
do. For sure,
it's fun.
It is a great time.
Yeah,
and we get to know each other.
Yeah, exactly. But it is important to have greater perspective in mind.
Yeah.
Work is often fun.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's enjoyable too. It's learning. That's what it's about also. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience,
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
We love it.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I always tell them I vote.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say every show, every talk, every phone conversation we have, number one, it feels like we've known each other for so long already, and it's been going on 2 months now where we all actually interacted, and I always learn something new because all four of us are so different and unique, but at the same time on the same path with the same end goal. So it's definitely a learning experience because there's stuff John, David, Sena, all you guys are more well equipped and have more knowledge on that. And so I take bits and pieces and I learn things every single time. So like what you guys were saying, Russ and Mariah, it's work, it's fun, it's learning, and it just feels like this is what the Covenant family is meant to be doing at this time. So it's great.
It's soul food.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
the first show I watched was at the end of February, and I still need to go watch the family show Noah. And I think I missed Luminaries a couple of days ago because this last couple of weeks have been trying in many ways for me. So, but other than that, I've watched all the shows. I went through puzzles and everything else. Then you think, wow, you've learned a lot through repetition. Some people learn through repetition. Some people read it.
Right.
Some people are visual. I'm monkey. Because you can teach a monkey to sign doesn't mean they're smart. So I have to hear it over and over. And how Craig teaches, as a great teacher does, is through repetition. You know, it's over and over until it's
Over and over in the
ingrained.
books.
And then once you learn it, you chew the
Videos.
cud, as Mariah always says.
Yep.
And then
You
eventually,
got it.
once you do it, when you actually know it for real and own it, is when you can teach it. So I'm nowhere near any of that. I'm on the learning. And what Joe said is everything I watch and every time somebody talks, I listen because there's always some little thing that clicks. And knowledge is accumulative, right? So yeah, it's great. Yeah. And like you said, knowing people for a short period of time, it's been nice. Mariah and I had a long conversation about things that I recently went to share later, but it's been nice. You know, it's like talking to people with the common goal, you know, so there's not the disconnect that that David had with his past friend and realized he's a moron. An effing moron, it sounded like, when it came to not knowing things and he's teaching. So it has been
That's
great.
brutal.
So.
Ignorance is not.
But so we're approaching the 2-hour mark. I knew that happened, so that's fine.
It's been an hour.
Huh? Oh, no.
If you need to get going, Russ, it's totally cool.
Anytime
we need to go.
I anticipated it being longer, so I thought it was I'm an hour late, but I'm not. I looked at the clock wrong there. No, it's fine. I'm good. I can call it in a little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
Let's keep the ball rolling. Then.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. We all know that it's a different type of like it's immediate family. Like when I was going to see Mariah and Russell, like it's just excitement. And then you see each other and you give each other a big hug and you're like, I'm home. Like it is just another home in a different area, but you're like, we see our brains work the same in this way. Yeah, it's so incredible what this does. I mean, when the website was created, even like, and we started talking to people, and you got to see everybody's comments and people like saying exactly what you think or how you think, or I never thought about it that way, but like that makes sense, or you're it all just it just clicks in this whole, like, it's just it's very set apart, like it's super
very different.
It's very it's very organic. That's a rarity, but it's not a rarity in this. Like you'd think you'd butt heads, and everyone butt heads, but I haven't met anyone yet that I bump heads with, really, other than my own family. It's
I think that has a lot to do with a sense of respect that we have for each other and the respect of each other's autonomy and free will. When you recognize the value of free will, you're not trying to impose your will on anybody. You're just you're accepting them for who they are, where they're at. It's very real. It's very honest. It's very vulnerable, actually.
Yes.
as
100%.
Craig
Yes.
mentioned on the show.
Yes,
Yeah,
very.
you're able to talk about these things that you aren't with anybody else or in the same light. You can talk about it as much as all you want, but that doesn't mean it's relating. It doesn't mean that you're learning from them, or it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's
When you have
Straight.
YtoZ Towrah as a foundation for life in general, it shifts perspective. It changes and edifies the foundation of your soul so you can stand. And
Hmm.
it's like I don't know how to put it. I have to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's definitely shub.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
definitely shub. And there's a commonality too that we share now because of that respect, because of that valuing free will, because of that respect for autonomy and all of that, and understanding what that it's not that religion is so bad and why.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
lack of narcissism and a lack of
For sure.
psychopaths.
It
So-
makes me it brings to mind this idea again. I kind of mentioned it in the chat the other night. It's like kind of this idea of the hero's journey, not necessarily like verbatim in how it appears in literature, but we all kind of undergo this journey where we have this starting position, and we go off an adventure, and we learn and we grow, and we overcome all these different challenges, and in the end we come home with everything that we've learned. And
Yeah.
like that is pretty on the ball insofar as what this experience is like for all of us. And there's something very heartfelt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with like everything you guys have saying. It was in my head, and you guys just all said it, so I was like, I don't have to talk. But
Same here.
yeah, it's like
I'm there.
Mariah,
I'm like, that's eloquently spoken. So
yeah, like Mariah in particular, like when you said the thing with free will, I was thinking that too, because it's like that's what I feel is like the biggest difference between Christian or just the covenant and Christianity in particular, but just kind of every other religion. Because with us, and what I loved so much about covenant family is that being in it is a choice. So anyone that is here because they want to be, not because they're getting something out of it, or because they're waiting for the pearly gates at the end, or God's love as a gift or whatever. Like there's no like, oh, you did great, here's your prize for loving people unconditionally, and because you had no choice, or otherwise you'd go to hell. It's like, no, it's like these people like me and they want to spend time with me or go into eternity with me because they want to, and like they had an option, they chose to, they stuck with it, and we have that same foundation. But with Christians, it's like at the end of the day, sure, they might be a nice person, they might do things for people that are good and might benefit them, but at the end of the day, their motive is that. So it's like you can't really, it's not the same. So it's just nice to have people that have that foundation that is elective, and it is free will, and it's all based on what they want for themselves and for everyone else. So
and it's fear factor, fear driven also. That's one part of it, like with Christianity. Go ahead, sorry. Go on.
I would like to mention though that we do actually get something out of it. There are 5 conditions, the one first of which is
5 benefits as well.
But there's 5 benefits, and those benefits, there's nothing better than those benefits.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you couldn't make a better top 5 if you wanted.
No.
Yeah.
and even the conditions, when you think of them through, you're like, okay, well that's better for me too. Oh, and that's good, and that's better, and I love this. This is my favorite part. And there's how many parties, and they all do what, and we all get to hang out, and
yeah, we're not
there's no uniforms, and
Yeah.
there's no obey, and there's no this is great, and this is what when you think of, and he does say he's a father, right? So what is a really good dad? I think we all kind of deep down in our souls know what a good dad should be doing, even though we didn't have one, right? So you think about
100%.
that. What does a daddy do? He elevates his kids. He elevates his children.
Yeah.
He empowers them. He teaches them. He encourages them. He gives them as much information as he can. He wants them to be successful and grow.
He's not going to do everything for us, but he's going to give us everything we need to be
Right.
successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guidance
Not
and
indulgent.
instruction.
You don't spoil. You spoil, that term. It's
Yeah.
real term.
Right.
You don't just give them everything. You
Yeah.
have to,
Right.
they have to work and make those connections in their brain and understand. And I think, we talk about generations, bringing it back to that. I think that there's a lot of not thinking. Everybody wants someone else to do the thinking
Well, you're
for them
force
and
fed
tell them what
information
to think.
constantly. The brain's not.
Yeah.
Instead of processing
searching.
things through logically,
Yeah.
there is a very much a lack of the ability to use logic and reason to think something through.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you have a lot less people figuring out their trauma and just living in it all the time.
Yeah.
And that continues all kinds of stuff instead of processing it, recognizing it, going through the grieving process and getting to the other side and growing up and learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sitting in it. And so
Right.
Yeah.
everything I want, everything given to me means that their brains can't function anymore.
That could be a
They
whole
never
show.
learn how to
yeah.
work and put out effort for things.
How to deal with trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
a
like
very human idea, right? Because it's basically, I've never met anybody who hasn't had a traumatic experience at some point, right? And that's all kind of frame of reference.
Sure.
We've kind of talked about in this group before, like you can't really play trauma Olympics too much because it's just everything.
Trauma Olympics.
Yeah, where you're like,
that is a thing.
This horrible thing happened to me. And
I'm a bigger
mine was
victim than you
worse.
Oh
are.
yeah, exactly.
I know.
There's no point in playing that game.
Grow up.
But there is some value in kind of understanding perspective and
Yes.
having respect, like you were talking about earlier, for the individual and how they've experienced everything that they've been through in their life to some extent, right? Obviously, once in a while, everybody's going to have a bad idea. But at the same time, it's like
It's part of learning.
Exactly.
If I could just real quick to interject with one thing you'd said, Mariah, that was one of, I think, the big eye openers for me was looking at Yahweh more as a father, and of course we know he's God, but coming from trying to find God through Christianity. It was like, I don't like this perspective. But then learning through the Torah and becoming covenant and knowing what we need to do, as far as the requirements, the benefits of it, but looking at it from a fatherly perspective. And, like you said, no, I mean, some have, I think a lot haven't had great relationships or have had the father here that we had all kind of hoped to have. So, yep, me too. So it's like you kind of have this picture in your mind, and you're like, man, if this is what a father's supposed to be, this is what they're supposed to do, this is how they're supposed to teach their children and interact with them, and then you look at it from like the heavenly perspective, our heavenly Father, and it's like, man, it's such a different perspective of looking at your relationship with God, essentially. So I always found that to be a much easier way to connect and be able to, okay, this is what he says to do. Well, if my father's telling me to do this, I should probably listen and take his advice. You know what I mean?
Probably is a good idea. Why? Like good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you find out the reasons, you make the connections, and you understand. You're like, okay, I do actually want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was good advice.
Sorry,
Okay, thank you. It's always helpful. Like, I always thought that it would be different for God, like his feelings and all this such. And when you put it to the kind of blatant, at least this is what I understand, is that we're made in his image. And so when we go through grief, that's what he's felt. And I don't think it's different. I think maybe it could be more dramatic because it's a seventh dimension. I don't know. I don't understand that. But I think it's the same. Like, our grief is what he's been through, in the sense of he's felt that in an entirely different way. I mean, he's always feeling it because everyone is, I mean, look what they've chosen, but also like he went through it with Dote. I mean, he went through it with everybody in the covenant at some point. And I went through losing my mom. And I don't think I don't think it's different. And our jealousy, like that's his jealousy as well. Like when I try and, I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. I was like, let me try and, because he's not under, he was like, what is what you do? And when I was trying to relate it, I was like, just think of it as if you had a creation, your children, if you had family, and they, you taught them who you were, your name, everything that it is to live life. And they decided to go to this party that were talking bad about you, started rumors, started, basically this community to just hate you. How would that feel? It's the same with like the souls and like, Adam and Dobie, the same, Boaz, Chinook, all of them. It's like, would you want to, how I was like, there's a million priests. Would you like to follow someone that you have no idea who they are? Or would you like to have those 8 friends of yours that have stayed with you for 10 years and have proven their loyalty and their love to you in your life, trying to would you want those people in your life, or would you want the people outside in your life? And right, well, right, and ultimately, of course he's like, well, the 8 people, and I'm like, right. So then I went on with the soul thing, and I'm like, you can put it in perspective always, because we're feeling it always. Like, we're going through what, I mean, again, my perspective of what God has felt, what Yah has gone through our experiences as well. So it's just like, I mean, with anything, I mean, that's how I see it, at least. And it's very, when you put it like that, you can find the emotion and empathy in it, because you're thinking of it as like your own like you can relate to it, because we can relate to it. And religion, they think that they think they're poo on the ground, and they have to worship this fly that likes to eat them, like, you know what I mean, that likes to somber in this. Like, seriously though, it's
now
like,
you're just talking shit.
and that's right. That's a lot of shit.
Perfect. I like it.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Do you guys see it that way?
It was a very colorful analogy.
Yes.
It was
I'm down.
That was true.
I'm down, Sena.
That's true. I really thought
like
it was
ones
an
like
evil
that.
ogre up above or an evil ogre below. Take an evil
The
ogre
fear factor.
when I was a young, and
Yeah.
I walked away from that. I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up in a nicer Christian denomination with my mom and my grandmother. But later on, I was like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, there was, I got involved in life, and then one day I asked God. I was crying, like my because my daughter's agnostic. She's just like, I don't need any of this crap. But she's she would entertain me sometimes, and she still does Christmas and everything, because to her it's cultural, it's not religious.
Yeah,
right?
we've talked about that before on here.
Yeah. So she doesn't care if it has pagan roots. That's what she did when she was a kid, because I'm an asshole. Because I didn't know.
It's society. It's this, you don't want to not fit in. Everybody has that when you're younger. Kids are brutal.
Yeah.
In school you get teased or whatever, and you're forming. You don't really understand. There's empathy is not something you understand when you're young.
Yeah.
We
It's like
develop
FOMO
at a different
when you're
age.
younger.
Pardon?
It's like FOMO when you're younger. Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's the whole thing today, is the fear of missing out, and you seeing out on everything. And
yeah, on top of the psychological aspects of, like, the warmness and the familial things and the things associated with it that people just don't want to let go of. I'm like, you can still do those things without the fucking Christmas. Like, just do something else.
Exactly.
But they don't want to. That's the thing too. Like, they have that day off. I'm like, well, make a day off. Like, if you actually care about this relationship too, like,
right,
do something else.
Yeah.
Everybody schedule a particular day off. And
this is good. I like this topic of conversation, especially because we have a couple Russell on as a guest because, you know, when I was like 17, 18, when I found Craig's work and began participating in the Covenant, dating my girlfriend, obviously there was some conflict there, you know, when I say like, hey, I'm done with all of these accessory holidays that I don't want to associate with anymore. Right. And of course, that was the exact point that I tried to drive home with her, is that we don't need Valentine's Day or Christmas or any of those stupid days. We can make our own days, and they'll be even more important because there's not this stupid societal pressure that we have to do that. Let's make it actually count for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Commercialization.
And, so I guess I wanted to ask, like, how did that kind of play out for you both?
The birthdays, Christmas, the holidays.
I think wasn't Valentine's
kind of stopped,
one of the first to go.
Yeah, and we kind of stopped anyways because once the kids are gone, you know, I really liked hanging the lights with Jonathan because, oh, I got this, and puts a staple through the wire, gets zapped. So that was entertaining. But once the kids are gone, birthdays, you're not constantly, okay, whose birthday is, whose friend is it this time? Who's this? And then
the
Valentine's Day, you go in, roses throughout the year are $12 a dozen. You know, Valentine's Day, they're $75, the same roses, right? So what does that tell you? Christmas. What is Christmas? It's an anxiety for most people. It's not, it's nothing to do with even Christianity for the most part. It's to do with commercialization. Oh God.
People are worried about if they can afford it. That's basically
and they stress on that. And I mean, it's like, aren't you good enough? Aren't you a human being? Can't you just show up and can't you just talk to the person, say, I love you, I'm glad we're spending time together? Well, where's my gift? You know what? Fuck you. Edit that out. That's kind of what it's come
we're
down
not editing
to.
it out.
We're keeping that in. We keep that in.
Okay, but it's one of those things where when you, sorry about the F-bomb, but it's one of those things when you see it, everything to do with it. What was Mother's Day created for? A special day, see your mom. Now it's an anxiety that the mom can just bust your, you know what, for you to show up. I have to show up. Oh, it's Mother's Day. I got to do this. And I don't, it's become this thing. It's nothing to do with what any kind of real meaning it used to have or whatever. I mean, it's all pagan crap, but so that's what it became to me a long time ago. And then to answer the question, I'll turn it over to her. But for me, it was kind of easy to let it go because I went, benefits. I don't have to do all that shit. I don't have to put that back in the attic. I don't have to hang lights. I don't have to go shopping.
So much cheaper.
I don't have to buy something for somebody that don't want. We're married. We can buy whatever we want whenever we want it. If I need it, I buy it.
I'm going to give you a present.
You know, so then and just all the grief and all the gymnastics of going to family that you hate. Oh God, so-and-so's going to be there.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I could go on and on about them, but I think you get the overall gist of it. To me, that's what holidays were. And so to not do them now is like.
We still buy hella turkey though.
Oh, yeah, because it's on sale.
Yeah, like I'm going to go to the clearance section every time a holiday passes.
Absolutely. I'm not participating in that, but the benefits of the sales, it's like, okay.
Yeah, take advantage.
Like we don't eat turkey.
But yeah, so we take the thing about the holidays, birthdays, all that stuff.
So I did birthdays for a long time, even into the covenant. And then I used to take a week off of work around my birthday to go visit my dad up in Oregon. I started doing that for a while after I saw him first with adult eyes, and we kind of developed an adult relationship. And I had some conversations with him and got to know him, and we had we developed a reasonable friendship until he started to really interject more of his religious opinions and you know, he's got a bit of a personality disorder in there a little bit. He likes control, you know. And one conversation, I think the last conversation we had on the phone, he told me that he was spanking my nephew. And something to the words of, to get the demons out of me or some crap in the name of Jesus, all this. And I was done.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you were over hitting kids, Dad. Come on. Like, really? You're sick. It's because I thought maybe he'd mellowed a little, you know? Has he got no.
Your dad and my dad sound alike.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Maybe they're friends. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yikes.
Maybe they could be. He's really smart in a lot of ways. Very intelligent man. Very, very intelligent. But
That's why it's such a
like
shame.
genius kind of. But he's just, when it comes to this, it just broke.
Yeah.
You know, talking about a fungus, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
their face.
Yep,
is
the yeast got
very-
inside. And
So I
made
had
a home.
found YtoZ. I had found Craig. I heard him on the radio. I think I had gone up to see my dad a few years in a row, and I brought some of the books with me. It was one of the I think it was the last time I went up. I had printed it out on we had a big old copier at work, and I just gave my boss some cash and said, let me just print this out, and I made it smaller, like, you know, so there was like 4 on each page, and stapled it all together in pieces and took it to work with me when I was standing in line at the courthouse. And I had a lot of time to read, which is kind of interesting. I can read when I walk, so
Wow.
peripheral vision, you know. So I was just inhaling it. It was crazy.
I can't even walk
pretty
and chew
soon.
gum.
I find that hard to believe.
So I brought it up with me, and we had a really huge fallout. And he, anyway, I can.
That's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. This was to do.
That will
with
be a
holidays.
part
and-
2.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
come
and
back
dropping
sometime.
stuff.
But
There you
anyway,
go.
that was the last time I went to see him. But
Mm.
yeah, we quit doing Christmas. He was a little disturbed, but got rid of all the stuff, and then he started thinking about, well, this is actually a good thing because I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that, but we can have
Well-
lights up, right? And I'm like, you can do lights all winter if
Yeah.
you want.
Well, leave
And
them
we
up like
just
the
have
neighbors
lights
do
in the
and stuff. I
patio
like that.
now. We turn on whenever we want
Yeah.
the lights on. So we're
If
good.
you want lights, have lights.
Have
So-
lights.
So to
Yeah.
clarify, so there's no misunderstanding about like me being a little like sad about the Christmas thing. Well, it was the pageantry. It was about all the things that has nothing to do with religion, because I walked away from religion when
Yeah,
I was
you didn't care
12,
about that.
11 or 12 years
It's the
old,
culture.
old enough to
Yeah.
tell my mom to, you know,
Mm.
like not stop hitting me, but just, you know, the other stuff. And then seeing how she was with the family and just friends, like, I don't have any part to do with this. And as I became, you know, in my teens, started talking to friends more, and it just became further and further away from that. So to answer the question about the holiday thing, Christmas it wasn't anything to do with the religious stuff. It was totally to do with, oh, this is fun. You know, it's an excitement. We're going to do it. It's an event.
It's the packaging.
Yeah.
that comes
It's
with
all
it.
the commercialization.
Easter
I
was never
loved it
huge for
type
me.
thing. I'm good. You know, that's all it was to me. And it
I don't
always
care about
was,
Easter.
you know, and then people that, oh, it's Christmas time. And then the anxiety, it's like, yeah, that's your God, your Christian God that wants you to go through all this shit to celebrate what are you even doing it for?
Right.
The birth of Christ, you know what it's.
Yeah, they
like,
know
like,
they
Yeah.
think it's in September anyways.
well, yeah,
They think that. It's so weird.
It's very
and I go, no,
taboos.
it's nothing to do with that anymore. It's absolutely to do with money, monetary gain, you know, like Easter, everything right now,
Well, everything
not a
about it is nice.
joke.
Yeah.
I got to actually head out here real quick, but just one thing, born in Minnesota, wintertime, it can be snowing in October, right? It's cold. The leaves are gone, everything. What is the date today? It's July 11th. There's a place down on El Camino by our house where they set up all these big blow up slides. I mean, big ones, right? This parking lot's full. And I'm like, wow, is that like a little traveling circus? What's going on here? And you know what's mostly the theme in that whole thing? Pumpkins.
Oh yeah,
Where are we at right now?
July already.
July.
Yeah, October, Halloween, you know, celebrating that. You're like,
They're
that's what
setting
it's
up
come.
early.
Home Depot shows you the example of what it's become. The day, you know, Halloween, the day of Halloween, day before, you walk in the store. Whoa, where'd everything
Very
go?
swapped
The next
everything
day, Christmas, the whole store.
It's almost
Yeah.
crazy.
You know, it's just money, and it just follows suit with the crap
People
that
love
it
it.
is, right?
Ridiculous.
To me,
Love that
Yeah.
shit
what it's
too.
always been. So,
They have big old
Yeah.
boxes,
Makes sense.
decorations for each of the
but
Oh yeah.
things.
Yeah, thank
Halloween
you.
is huge here. Halloween is huge.
Oh yeah, it's huge up here
Yeah.
too. People are more into that than pretty much
Yeah,
anything
for
else.
sure.
yeah,
Right.
Yep.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like
I
I,
think
said
the
with
last
these guys, we need to have
Birthdays.
a costume party at some point, just nowhere near that date. Because costume parties are fun. Why not?
Oh, anytime, yeah.
Costume
you know,
parties are yeah.
But I just hate how the only time everybody wants to do it is in October.
Yeah.
Right?
You know? Anyways, thank you so much, you both, for joining us today.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful
Thanks.
time having you on, and we've had some pretty great conversations. Anytime you guys want to come back, feel free.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
please
Cool.
do.
We have to do our next episode.
Yeah, we got to get back on that. The book club, as you can see behind us, we're in our book club
Yay.
studio.
Love it.
We
Very
opted
nice.
out. Mariah actually ordered it. We opted out for that. Something real
It's
instead of a
it's
fake computer generated
It's
image in the
a
back.
piece
It
of
looks so
I
good.
saw Will's
There you
show,
go.
which was really informative and great,
No
and only a half
halo.
hour long. So there's a lot of information for me. I'm like, okay, at least I can digest some of this. But I commented, man, his house is pretty nice, man. The one that he shows on there.
Oh,
And then
well.
he moved, and I'm like, oh, that's not his house. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, he's doing good. That's the baby piano. I'm like, baby grand piano. I'm like, does he play that? I'm like,
Yeah, that's not real.
yeah. Anyway, but Kevin was at Craig's yesterday.
That always
so-
cracks me up.
He's by the pool. I'm all,
So, I got
because when I
a-
first started watching the shows, I'm like, oh, so he's at his house and he's sitting up. I didn't,
No.
but right away I put it together. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had
Kevin
to have
always
something
warns,
real.
always warns. He says, don't leave your screen unattended, because
Yeah.
they'll totally capture that background and he'll use it as a set.
There you go. Right on. Well, cool. Well, thanks for having us on. It's been
Yeah,
great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
being
for
here
joining.
today.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you for
much.
having us. Yes.
Seems like a part
Great.
2's in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Join us next time on From Y to Z. Thanks for watching, everybody.